obtained during the missing persons portion of the investigation. Based on information obtained during the course of the investigation, we believe the men planned to commit some type of criminal act when they left the residence on West 6th Street. That belief is based on information supplied by a witness who reports they were invited to go with the men to, quote unquote, hit a lick big enough for all of them. We do not know what they planned or where they planned to do it. Task force officers continue to investigate and will do so until all leads are exhausted. A very methodical search was conducted Saturday at the salvage yard on 20th Street as well as surrounding properties. Nothing remarkable was observed inside the salvage yard, but evidence of a violent event was discovered on an adjoining property. The owner of both salvage yards, Joe Kennedy, is considered a person of interest, but no charges have been filed. Investigators would like to speak with him again. Mr. Kennedy was reported missing Saturday night and may be suicidal. He is last believed to be driving a blue Chrysler PT Cruiser bearing Oklahoma license LSA 245. During the missing person portion of the investigation, we were very liberal with information releases in an attempt to find the man. Once the investigation changed to a murder investigation, we will be much more conservative with information to protect the integrity of the investigation. I want to recognize the agencies that have assisted so far with the body recovery and Saturday's search: the District Attorney's Violent Crime Task Force, the OSBI, the Oklahoma Highway Patrol Boat Team, Light Horse Police, the FBI, the Okmulgee Fire Department, and Okmulgee County Emergency Management, as well as City of Okmulgee Emergency Management. That is the conclusion of my statement. I will respond to questions if you have any.
When you say they were going to get a lick, are we talking about drugs? Are we talking about copper? Or?
We have no idea. We have no idea. That is common terminology for engaging in some type of criminal behavior, but we do not know what they were planning or where they plan to do it.
Will we get a picture of Mr. Kennedy here pretty soon? Will you send that out?
Mr. Kennedy is a person of interest that we would like to talk to and currently not a suspect. I probably won't release his photo unless and until he is named a suspect.
When is the last time y'all spoke to Mr. Kennedy?
Friday afternoon.
What are you telling the families about just kind of working this case and how you're trying to get them answers?
All of the information that I just provided you, I provided the family earlier this morning. I have assured them that nothing changes except the focus of the investigation. We have worked around the clock all week. We were out all weekend, and we will continue to work at the same pace that we've been working to try to find out exactly what happened to their loved ones and who did it.
Have you found the bicycles yet?
We have not. We still are missing the bicycles, and unfortunately, I have no description of the bicycles. At least one, and we believe all of the boys had multiple bicycles, and there's no way to know which ones they were on.
Have you recovered the weapon, the gun used in the shooting?
We have not.
Do you know what type of weapon it was? Handgun, rifle?
I'm not releasing that information.
If I see Mr. Kennedy, am I in danger? Is the community in danger with him out there?
I don't have any evidence to indicate that Mr. Kennedy is a threat to anyone else, but I would use caution. If anyone sees Mr. Kennedy, please call the local authorities.
Can you tell us what evidence was recovered at the second salvage yard or property nearby?
We're not releasing that yet.
Have you ever in your tenure had something like this before?
I've worked over 80 murders in my career. I have worked murders involving multiple victims. I have worked dismemberments. But this case involves the highest number of victims, and it's a very violent event. So I can't say that I've never worked anything like it, but it's right up there at the top.
So reason to believe that the victims were placed in the river on Sunday evening?
I don't know that I can give you a firm answer. It would take a considerable amount of time to put the bodies in the condition that they were and then dump them in the river. So my best estimate would be late Sunday night, early Monday morning.
When you said on CNN over the weekend the bodies have appeared to be in the water for a while, what did the water do anything to the condition of these bodies to make your investigation harder? Is that what you said?
Water always affects decomposition. And depending on temperature, depending on the current flow, there's a lot of different factors that do that. And I would defer to forensic pathologists to better explain that than I. Whenever water is involved, it makes it much more difficult to identify evidence. And we are methodical at every scene, but we have to be extra methodical when we're dealing with a body of water because it's so easy to miss evidence.
When you last spoke with Mr. Kennedy, was he cooperative? What was his state of mind like?
He appeared to be cooperative. He was not antagonistic.
Is that property where the event happened, is that his property as well, or just the salvage yard?
No, it is not his property. That property belongs to the property surrounding the salvage yard, and maybe for ease, I have since discovered that Mr. Kennedy referred to the South 75 location as the salvage yard and the 20th Street location as the scrap yard, which may make it easier to keep track of what we're talking about. So the scrap yard belonged to Mr. Kennedy. The property surrounding the scrap yard belongs to 3 different businesses.
And that property you're talking about is the one where the violent event looks like it
That's
occurred?
correct. It was on one of the other pieces of property.
Did these men have a relationship with Mr. Kennedy before? Were they employees? Are they relatives of any kind?
Not that I'm aware of. Mr. Kennedy has denied knowing them, and obviously I can't ask the victims, but I don't have any reason to believe that there was any pre-existing relationship.
With them being cut up into pieces, is there a chance somebody's going to find something down the creek or something like that, or do you believe you have recovered everything?
I believe this morning we recovered the last piece. We recovered the majority of the remains Friday night. We made an additional recovery yesterday, and we recovered what I believe is the last piece this morning.
Were the bodies tied down to weight them down in the river, or were they just kind of falling free?
I didn't see any evidence that there was an attempt to weight them down.
Now, with 4 men and 1 person of interest, do you think he may have, whoever did this, may have been alone or received help?
Whenever I conduct an investigation, I always develop theories, but I don't publicize those until I have evidence to support them. At this point, I don't have any evidence of anyone else being involved.
Have you spoken with the family members before you met with us, and how are they doing?
I did speak with the family members. They were upset. I think that they had already resolved themselves that this was their loved ones, but the additional information about dismemberment was obviously a shock, and they were very distraught.
What's next?
A lot of work. We were still waiting on cellular telephone records. We have requested additional video surveillance from businesses in the area. We'd like to talk to Mr. Kennedy again. We continue to get tips of sightings. But as information comes in of people that potentially know things, we're going out and talking to them. So we still have a lot of leads to follow, and we will continue to bring those in, prioritize them, and send those out to investigators to be accomplished and then report back. And at some point, we have to pause and prep reports. We have been working so fast, and this investigation has been rolling on so fast, we haven't had time to type any reports. We have a lot of typing to do.
So let me ask you, with all the media in the room, how do you want us to proceed?
Anyone that has any information about the murder, or the disposal of the bodies after the murder, or Mr. Kennedy's location, is asked to contact Okmulgee Police or their local authorities. We can be contacted at 918-756-3511, or we have set up a tips email at tips@okmcity.net. All right, thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.